Chair, Maina Mwiruri, and the Kenya Union of Journalists, represented by the Secretary General, are also with us today. But I'm here to share what our interests sitting in newsrooms are as we drive this engagement. And this for us really boils down to just three questions. And these questions speak to the crucial assignment that we have of reporting the next general elections, which have been announced for Tuesday, August the 9th, 2022. And this announcement was done by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, as indeed should be done. The first question for us is, what measures should we put in place to promote professionalism and adherence to the code of conduct of journalism as we cover the campaigns and the polls? The second question is how to ensure timely access to electoral information at all stages, before, during, and after the August 9, 2022 elections. The third question for us is the means for building capacity of today's media on electoral matters. These questions, if answered well, will enhance the chances that the Kenyan public are served by an independent media and assisted to make informed choices in the election. So to the first question on ethical practice, we like to say that journalists and indeed the media have no candidates in this coming election. Or indeed, do we have any other, do we have any candidates in any other political or partisan election? We have a code of conduct for journalists, enforceable as part of the law. This code is found as Schedule 2 of the Media Council Act of 2013. So indeed, that code is part of the law. The code embodies professional standards developed by industry and are binding on all journalists in the Republic. Any transgressions of this code should get the attention and should come to the attention of the Media Complaints Commission. What we are saying there is that anybody who feels aggrieved by anything that we do as journalists should not take the law into their hands. They shouldn't send their goons or militia to attack our journalists. They should lambast us in public. There is recourse in law, and there is a special entity known as the Media Complaints Commission that deals with those matters. Our duty as journalists is to serve the public interest by using journalism to inform, to enable debate, and to hold the privileged and the powerful accountable to the people. We are working to reduce any chances that editorial space gets contaminated by the influential. We acknowledge that interests of some media owners or even media managers and even media leaders sometimes leave media professionals torn between telling the story as it is or following the boss's overt instructions. There are instances where media owners have declared their political biases openly. In such instances, the journalists come under much pressure and sometimes get exposed to personal risk. We are conducting self-reflection to assess whether our democracy has matured enough to allow media houses to do what happens elsewhere, that is, endorse parties and candidates. We are also particularly concerned about the possibilities that the powerful in our society would want to take advantage of our nascent vernacular FM radio stations to essentially spew hate and bigotry. We are collaborating as an industry to see how best to forestall this. I think that's way too many examples to illustrate that. On the second question about access to information, as we tell political stories, we balance three conflicting rights. The rights of voters to be helped to make the right choice, the rights of aspirants and candidates to sell their policies so that they are understood by the voter, and the journalist's own rights to inform, enable debate, and to hold the privileged to account. All players in the electoral arena owe journalists a duty to help us deliver access to information to the public. They must enable that access, for that access is owed to the public and is owed to the people of this country. IEBC, the courts, parliament, civil society, but more so the executive, must play their role in ensuring our citizens have the right information in a timely manner and in a useful format. We expect that IEBC will be upfront with information in timely and practical formats. We expect that the judiciary shall put in place measures to ensure that its courts are not abused or misused by those keen to block information from flowing to the public. Indeed, we are lately having way too many instances of gag orders whose ultimate effect is to draw curtains on public matters. And this must not extend to electoral matters. And I believe out of the work that we get to do today, that we get to do going forward, we must find ways to make sure that there is accountability and there is transparency in matters elections. Ladies and gentlemen, on the third question, we look at the capacity to hold impunity to account. Politics of violence, hate, ethnicity inhibits effective media performance. The bell tolls for us to join forces and to put a stop to our 5-yearly festival of chaos and bloodshed in the name of elections. It is most selfish and shameless to destroy lives and livelihood in pursuit of political power. But the bigger shame is on those who know better but choose not to act to remedy the situation. In the media, when leaders elevate sectarian interests over national ones, they make it challenging for us in our newsrooms to deploy the best professionals as we would wish. Worse, it invites threats and attacks against journalists. Sometimes our names betray us. This is the elephant in the room, and I adduce it is of little help discussing electoral justice unless we are willing and ready to confront the politics of violence, the politics of hate, and the politics of ethnicity. We must confront the culture of impunity, and those who flout election laws need to be called to account publicly. We would want to work with well-meaning individuals and institutions to enhance the capacities of our newsrooms to play this critical watchdog role. In this digital age, ladies and gentlemen, where data is gold, it is outrageous that many Kenyans today find that their private data are in the hands of political parties. The outcry from thousands of Kenyans that they were unlawfully added as members of political parties has significant implications on the integrity of the upcoming general election. That this is possible and can happen without a swift and effective reaction from the Data Commissioner and from the entirety of our criminal justice system is a major alarm bell. Vigilance on the rule of law and protection of public rights must be constant and unflinching. Ladies and gentlemen, as I finish, we have 4 critical practical steps that we think are useful and important to make public as we move forward. First, the media will shortly release an updated election reporting guidelines and proceed to mount election training across the country to prepare ourselves for the assignment of reporting this election. The trainings will seek to elevate reportage to a standard that emphasizes verification, sensitize the rights of journalists and the media in political and democratic processes, and empower journalists to interrogate issues, to seek information, and safeguard their role in society as frontline human rights defenders. Second, we are creating structures to ensure free flow of information on elections in ways that promote editorial independence. To this end, we will today put in place a joint task force with the IBC, whose mandate is to ensure media operations are supported in a practical and accountable manner. Third, ladies and gentlemen, on the rights of the people in the political process, we are working to design a plan for the media to empower citizens to fully participate at each and every stage of the electoral process, and thereafter as a right. This includes civic education, educating people on their rights and their duty to hold politicians, political parties, candidates to account throughout their tenures. To this end, we will, in October 2021, have a session with the civil society and the political parties to explore how best to serve the voter. And further, we'd like to announce today that given that the nomination for presidential candidates has been announced by IEBC to end on June the 10th, 2022, the media will hold the first presidential debate following thereafter, and the first presidential debate will be held on the 12th of July, 2022. That will then be followed by the second presidential debate to be held on the 26th of July, 2022. In between those two debates, we will hold a debate for the running mates of those candidates. The fourth practical action, ladies and gentlemen, speaks to gender and the political process, and we seek to ensure that media practitioners understand the rights of women and men, the importance of inclusiveness and importance of giving sufficient and adequate space for them to articulate their issues. Quite a clear assignment for us, and we believe that we have the professionals, the values, and the energy to deliver on this assignment. I thank you.
Thank you so much, President, for that.